Okay, let's bring you some breaking news now. In the latest U.S. unemployment numbers, a quarter of American workers have now applied for unemployment benefits since mid-March, when the coronavirus pandemic escalated in the country. Another 2.1 million made claims last week. Over 40 million people are facing financial ruin in the worst economic crisis to hit the U.S. since the Great Depression in the 1930s. Andy Gallacher is live for us in Miami. It's just one of the cities struggling with growing unemployment numbers. Andy, the numbers themselves are huge, but the real impact of the coronavirus and the lockdown and so on is really in the real stories that people tell, isn't it?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I mean, Florida is a state that runs on the service industry. There's a lot of tourism here, and that industry has been hit particularly hard here in the Sunshine State. But it's when you speak to the people that are within days of facing not just financial crisis, but a struggle to just feed themselves and their families, when those figures really become something else entirely. Now, here in the state of Florida, there have been long-time issues with filing for unemployment benefits. The website went down weeks ago, was criticized before the coronavirus even hit the state. But just let's look at the impact on the people of Florida.
Florida's unemployment lines have been growing for months as the coronavirus continues to ravage the U.S. economy. In April alone, the jobless rate here tripled. Lines for food banks grew, and frustrations over filing unemployment claims continue. After weeks of not receiving his benefits, Beau Guyot decided to walk to the state capitol to get answers.
You're supposed to place your completed application in this makeshift mailbox.
Following a 600-kilometer journey, Beau says he was met by a system unable to cope with the needs of those out of work.
There's just no help in sight. And the frustration it's beyond frustration. It's reached a level where I think a lot of people, I think, unfortunately, are just giving up.
Even as restrictions here begin to ease and businesses steadily reopen, a picture is emerging of a state failing the needs of people out of work and facing financial hardship.
The job statistics across the U.S. make for depressing reading, but it's the human stories that bring this crisis into sharp focus. We spoke with Candice Bell, a pregnant mother who recently lost her job. She too is still waiting for her benefits. Now she may not be able to pay the next month's rent, is struggling to keep up with payments on her car, and is having very real issues feeding her children.
Like many, Candice worked in Florida's once booming service industry. Now she's facing a desperate situation.
I don't know in the next 10 days how I'm going to do it. I really don't. It's absolutely terrifying. It's like very scary to have I'm a single mom and I have 3 daughters that depend on me.
The continued closure of schools and childcare facilities is also taking a toll. Many parents can no longer afford childcare, and despite online learning programs being launched across the state, those without access to computers may never recover.
I worry about those kids because they are just sliding further and further behind, and I don't see that there will ever be an opportunity actually for those kids to catch up.
According to federal data, 43 states set record high unemployment rates last month. A decade of consistent job growth has been wiped out, and many are still waiting for financial help that's still not arrived.
So 1 in 4 Americans have now filed for unemployment benefits in about the last 10 weeks. And remember, it's important to note that the labor statistics are generally behind the current trend, so that figure may be even higher than 40 million. But it's those human stories that really bring those statistics home. Here in Florida, the Republican governor, Ron DeSantis, is claiming 9 out of 10 people who are not getting their benefits filled in the forms incorrectly. Certainly the people we've spoken to say that is not the case, despite this state hiring thousands of people to man the phone banks. But the experiences those now seeking help are getting is a state that's failing them completely.
Andy, thanks very much indeed. That's Andy Gallacher in Miami.